leprosy on the skin. Emphasis on purity and impurity. The people of Israel were considered holy, set apart for Adonai. That is why the ritual purity was a way of expressing that holiness and maintaining the relationship with Hashem. And one of the reasons why the emphasis of the purity was because Hashem was among them. You know, he was not in the Mishkan, he was within them. That's why when somebody want to go to the restroom, they have to go out of the camp because Hashem was there. Then nothing impure can be in there. Okay. And the other reason for the rituals of purity was because health for the community. It is, if this person was not put on a side, then that person will contaminate other brothers, other people within the community. And that's why the one who was able to recognize the Sarah was the kohen, and he was the only authority. How can I say it? The only authority that will guide them into what they have to do. But now thinking about the person who had the Sarah, that person will go into some kind of shame because he had that. So in one of the ways that his shame will be as you know, what everybody's going to say, they know I did something wrong. So especially in the Sarah, not the leprosy, the Sarah, which came for doing Lashon Hara, you know. So they know what he has done, because it was a way to reveal that that person was doing that. Okay, and on the process of purity, they had to really have lots of faith, because they had to do what the Kohen says, but at the same time we have to realize that it was Hashem's had the faith enough that Hashem was the only one who can cure that. As long as that person did teshuvah. And what in reality, what is teshuvah? Teshuvah is to make the commitment, not do it again, repair the harm, okay, even if it's a fifth of what we did, okay, but it takes a lot of process. We can sometimes be involved in a Lashon Hara without even notice it. That's why you have to kind of be on guard of not to go into that game. I can't remember, one of the sages said somebody was going to tell him something. Is that going to help me? No, okay, no, I don't want to hear it. Is that going to hurt somebody? Yeah, okay, I don't want to hear it. You know, if it's not going to be by my benefit, I just don't want to hear it. So maybe we have to be a little bit hard when somebody comes and says, oh, hey, did you know that? I say, wait a minute, are you going to be talking about somebody? I guess the correct thing to do was to, are you going to talk something about Joe? Okay, let's bring Joe here. See if it is true, you know. And little by little, that person that has that bad habit, it will be conscious that his actions were really going to harm somebody if we keep doing that. But if we are reading the Torah, and not only reading it, but studying it, we should be able to protect ourselves against that, and help other ones. She says that, what do? You just tell that person, hey, this is wrong. This is wrong because you're talking about somebody else. Even if sometimes the sages say that even if it's right, you shouldn't be telling it. You know, oh, he got on camera, he was stealing. So that's not you're not the judge. Judge is only Hashem. So we shouldn't be passing on stories or doing a shohara, even if it's true. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
So, there's a lot of interesting stuff here in this Torah portion. It's wanted to talk about the Haftarah. It's interesting that Ezra and Nehemiah, or whoever put together this Haftarah, chose to only talk about one part of the story. So let me tell you, first of all, let me address something that the way my mind works is sometimes I can be a little bit abrasive, and I apologize. And so if there's ever any issues or somebody's offended, you can always come to me. I would prefer that you do, in private. We're not to embarrass our fellow Jews, and especially this extends to everybody, because everybody has the essence of Hashem in them, right? Because Hashem breathed life into us. So I've heard somebody say that the way we love God the most is the way we love somebody the least, right? So we're supposed to give honor just based on the fact that this person is a representative of Hashem, and they have a spark of Hashem in them. The Midrash says that the angels didn't know that Adam was any different than Hashem, because they looked so much alike and they were in so much form. So Hashem had to, one of the things he had to do was put Adam to sleep, so that they knew, oh, okay, this is not Hashem. So I say that I went to a Rosh Hashanah service one time, a big, huge synagogue in Cincinnati. It was our first time to do a full all day long, full, and it was a speed reading too. It was a full service. I think it was like 4 or 5 hours, and then there was going to be a second service after that, after a break. Me and my wife, we didn't return. We got all prayed out, but in the middle of the service, the Gabbai, which is the rabbi's assistant, came to me and he's like, "Get up there and open the ark," which means that you move a curtain. Ark is a container of the Torah. They have this huge, ark, and it was beautiful, and I didn't know what I was doing, And the rabbi got up there, and the rabbi's like, "When you get to this part in Hebrew, you need to open the ark. And then we get to this part in Hebrew in the prayer, then you need to close the ark." And I'm like, "I don't know." And he's like, "You don't understand Hebrew, do you?" And I was like, "I understand a little bit." He goes, "Well, you don't understand Hebrew yet." Right. So, but what happened is my back was really hurting that day, and I stumbled back and I fell off the stage. They had a raised stage, like a big, it was so that everybody could see, and I fell off, and was really embarrassed. There was not one person that laughed. People came forward, "You okay?" And I went back and I closed the ark at the right place or whatever. But that stuck with me. It was like, we're not going to embarrass people. So it's a Jewish thing to do, that we don't embarrass people. So if anything I say is not to embarrass anybody, a lot of times I will put something, an idea out there so we can discuss. For instance, there's one time on Facebook, I kind of, tongue-in-cheek said that the way you can make something kosher to be part of a challah is you can just throw some flour on it, right? And so I took a kind of a part of it, and then somebody rightfully called me out on it, and we were able to discuss it, and it developed into a huge discussion, and I'll do that sometimes. So I know sometimes I rub people the wrong way, but that's not my intent. But I want to get back onto the Haftarah. And, Nehemiah, like I said, the writers are those who determined, who put together the Haftarah, stop the story in Kings. And it doesn't pick up with the story. And I'll kind of give a synopsis of what happens. Okay. So the man is cured of leprosy. And it's so much of he claims it so much that the writers and even in the Kabbalah lift the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei. So because of this, Naaman stopped being a pagan, and he became a follower of the God of Israel, and he turned away from his pagan ways, and he was no longer a follower of the pagans. He became a follower of Hashem, and he even invoked the most holy name, which is interesting that the writers kept that in. So let me say this is we always have to put ourselves in people's situations when we read something. So we make sure that again, we don't, like Ezra Ezra said, we don't want to do, and also the Francesca, we don't want to do Lashon Hara. So we don't want to ever tell a Bible story and say, oh, David, he was bad, and he did this, but we can see, we see things we don't see it as they're going. So if we're in the situation, we put ourselves in our brothers and sisters' position. So what we have here in the story of Naaman, it stops with go in peace. Elisha ends with go in peace. And Elisha, some people say Elisha. I say it's a little bit confusing because Elijah and Elisha. But Elisha was the servant of Eliyahu, Elijah. And he had double the amount of the powers that Eliyahu or Elijah had. And some sources say that Gehazi, which was the servant of Elisha, was to be his person to carry on the teachings and the foundations that Eliyahu had. And so he was going to get four times the amount of power that Eliyahu had. Or sages say that if Gehazi would have remained righteous. So what happens? Let me finish the story. So what happens is Naaman goes in peace, and so a lot of times, and he said, "I'm not going to." He never met with Naaman. He's a man who is impure. So there had to be something, because Elisha wouldn't even meet with him. It's like, I don't want to get near you. I don't want to mess with your problems. You've got a healing. Maybe this will get you in the right stead. If you want to be healed, here's a small thing you can do. Go dip in the Jordan. And then his servants, he complained, but he's like, I don't want to go, dip in this dirty river. And his servants, convinced him. He dipped in the river and he was healed. And not only was he healed, but he realized that God is the God of all the world. And then he went back to Elisha, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to give you a bunch of gold and silver and clothes and servants." And Elisha was like, I don't want anything from you. You go in peace. Well, for the last 3 or 4 Torah portions, we've learned that our people, this goes all the way back for the golden calf. This goes back is obviously something that we as a people have a problem with, because it goes back to our father Abraham, and it's waiting. It's waiting and waiting for the blessings that we can get. And this is manifest in what Gehazi does. And Gehazi says he has, okay, he kind of has he has a good motive. Hold on just a moment. He has a good motive. Seems like a good motive, by having riches. And so what Gehazi does is he goes and he tracks down Naaman, and he says, "Hey, listen, we've got a whole bunch of prophets who come with us, and they need, sustenance," which was half truth, right? And then he's like, basically, look, give me the money, the stuff that my master refused, give to me, and I'll make good use of it. We could say he was a shrewd businessman, but he didn't go with what his master Elisha did, right? And so, going back to the thing, it said that if Gehazi, this is Midrash now, if Gehazi had stayed righteous, because what happened when Gehazi came back, you think, oh, look, I know you weren't in your right mind. You said no to the gold and silver, and Elisha was like, I didn't tell you to do that. The sickness that was on Naaman, now it's going to be on you. And he cursed Naaman with leprosy. He gave the leprosy that came off Naaman and put it on Gehazi. As a R2D2, forgot to turn him off. But basically, we lost, because our sages say that if Gehazi would have remained righteous, the world would not have been able to contain his servant, right? It's 8 times the amount of Eliyahu. Eliyahu was so righteous that he was taken to heaven, because if he would have expounded on the knowledge that he had, it would have changed the world. So a lot of times I say this because we're in that time period right now. We're in a very volatile place where we don't know what's going on. Are we in the time of the redemption, or we have the cows, the red heifers? We have a lot of questions about what we should do. We have to be very sober-minded and not go based on our feelings. We need to really pray and keep fast to the Torah, and we need to make sure that we don't go on what the flesh brings us out. I'm just using kind of Christianese, but I'm saying like the natural carnal desires say, well, I know Hashem said this, but he didn't understand. I need to pay my bills, or I need to pursue this, pursue that. So I think that this is also something a lot of Christians say. There's a blessing around the corner, but there really is. There really is. And if we can just hold true, even if it's a generation, even if it's 20 or 30 generations, we need to hold true to what we know to be the truth, do the mitzvot, love our fellow man, and bring Hashem glory and honor. Shabbat shalom.